Hare Krishna. Thank you for joining. Let's do Radha Madhav. Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunj Bihari Jayo Radha Madhava Jaya Kunj Bihari Jaya Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Giravardhari Jai Gopi Jana Vallabha Jayo Giravardhari Shodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana Shodanandana Vrajjana Ranjana Yamuna Tiravanachari Jai Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Jaya Radha Madhava Jaya Kunja Bihari Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare Hare
I'm always in trouble, nothing new.
Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Bol Om Gyan Timradnasya Gyananjana Shalakya Chakshurmritam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namah Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitamena Bhutale Swam Rupa Kadamayam Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Yutapadakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavcha Shri Rupam Sagrajatam Sagana Raghunath Midantam Saryam Sadhvetam Savadutam Krishna Setam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sagana Lalita Shiva Shakhanvitamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Din Bandhu Jagatpati Gopesha Gopika Kant Radha Kant Namastute Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Rishabhanu Sutadevi Pranmami Hari Priya Pancha Kalpatu Birihascha Kirpa Sindhu Vevacha Padadana Pavnebhyo Vaishnavyo Namo 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 Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pasthaya Bhutale Śrīmate Bhaktivedanta Swami Te Namine Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschati Dishitarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasti Gaur Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya Mukram Koti Vachanam Pangum Nangyate Grim Yat Kirpatam Vandashi Guru Dindaram Paramanandamadam Shitaneshram Hari Om Tassat Narayana Namaskritya Naram Cheva Narottamam Devim Sasvityasam Tato Jamaduriyat Nasta Presha Abdurashanitam Avsaya Bhavati Uttam Sloke Bhakti Bhavati Neshtiki. Hare Krishna everyone. Okay, so let's continue. Chapter 11, Lord Krishna returning to Dwarka. Let me share. We're on verse 19, and the last time we were talking how the citizens and the relatives, they all stopped whatever they were doing and ran towards Krishna to welcome him, and he was welcomed with all natural things, and there's ponds and reservoirs and greenery everywhere, not just in the palaces themselves, but the whole place was well maintained. So that's where we were, and also how Krishna should always be the center of our lives. And I think we were discussing about Akrura, didn't get on with his father-in-law, but one thing they could agree on was serving Krishna. So it's like that. We won't necessarily get on with all the devotees. It's not possible. We different types of people. We will not necessarily get on with everyone. But one thing we can agree on is serving the Lord, and we can serve Him nicely together. So Varamo Kyascha Shatasho Yanes Tad Darshano Sukha Lasat Kunda Nirbat Kapol Vandan Shriha. So Varam Mukhya, well-known prostitutes, Cha and Shat Shaha, hundreds of Yanahi by vehicles, Tat Darshan, for meeting him, Utsukha, very much anxious, Lasat, hanging, Kundal, earrings, Nirbat, dazzling, Kapol, forehead, Vadan, face, and Shriya, beauty. So at the same time, many hundreds of well-known prostitutes began to proceed on various vehicles. They were all very eager to meet the Lord, and their beautiful faces were decorated with dazzling earrings, which enhanced the beauty of their foreheads. So, whichever career you take, but we end of the day we all spirit souls, and we have the same relationship with Lord Krishna. Doesn't matter what you do in life, the relationship is there, and Krishna is willing to meet or welcome everyone. Doesn't matter what they do. You see your bow, he wants to see. You can have bow as whatever position you're in. So purport: we may not hate even the prostitutes if they are devotees of the Lord, because they are devotees end of the day. Even today, there are many prostitutes in great cities of India who are sincere devotees of the Lord. By tricks of chance, one may be obliged to adopt a profession which is not very adorable in society, but that does not hamper one in executing devotional service to the Lord. Devotional service to the Lord is uncheckable in all circumstances. It is understood here that even in those days, and that's about 5,000 years ago, there were prostitutes in a city like Dvarka. It's not like they were all banished from the city, never to return, and they were going to hell for what they do. Now they were living there quite happily, where Lord Krishna resided. So they weren't looked down upon or anything like that. This means that prostitutes are necessary citizen for the proper upkeep of society, he says here. The government opens wine shops, but this does not mean that the government encourages the drinking of wine. The idea is that there is a class of men who will drink at any cost, and it has been experienced that prohibition in great cities encourages illicit smuggling of wine. Similarly, men who are not satisfied at home require such concessions, and if there is no prostitute, then such low men will induce others into prostitution. It is better that prostitutes be available in the marketplace so that the sanctity of society can be maintained. It is better to maintain a class of prostitutes than to encourage prostitutes within society. The real reformation is to enlighten all people to become devoted to the Lord, and that will check all kinds of deteriorating factors of life. So, going to prostitutes might be sinful, but converting people into prostitution by force, that's even more sinful. And it's best if things are done under control or illegalized in some way, that can keep your eye on things, and like that. It's like taking drugs. Sometimes they want to legalize certain classes of drugs to stop people smuggling drugs into society, so they can buy them legally anyway, and what they buy will be pure. instead of contaminated stuff which is sold, by drug pushers. It's a bit like that. So if they legalize something, then it's not so much something that's hidden or done under by the underworld mafia or something like that. Sri Bilva Mangal Thakur, a great Acharya of the Vishnu Swami Vaishnav sect, in his household life was overly attached to a prostitute who happened to be a devotee of the Lord. So there's a good example here of the prostitute who was actually a guru of Bilva Mangal Thakur. One night when the Thakur came to Chintamani, her name is Chintamani, the house in torrents of rain and thunder, Chintamani was astonished to see. She was more enlightened. She might have been a prostitute, but Bilva Mangal Thakur, he was well below her standards. Chintamani was astonished to see how the Thakur could come on such a dreadful night after crossing a foaming river which was full of waves. She said to Thakur Bilva Mangal that his attraction for the flesh and bone of an insignificant woman like her would be properly utilized if he could be diverted to the devotion service of the Lord to achieve attraction for the transcendental beauty of the Lord. But she was like gobsmacked. What the hell? He could have been killed, but he was so attached to her that even in a storm and floods, he went to see her because he used to go and see her every night, and he didn't want to miss this opportunity. So in any condition, he would go and see her. And she could not believe, she wasn't expecting anyone that night. And she had locked all the doors and everything, gone to sleep. And suddenly this person turns up and she couldn't believe. Or she said, if you had that much dedication to God, you would see God. Later on, the Thakur accepted the prostitute as his spiritual master. And in several places of his literary works, he has glorified the name of Chintamani, who showed him the right path. So he was a very dedicated person, and he would do anything to achieve his goal. So now, through her advice, he applied that focus, that energy towards Krishna, and he became a great devotee. In the Bhagavad-Gita 9:32, the Lord says, O son of Pritha, even the low-born Chandals and those who are born in a family of unbelievers, and even the prostitutes shall attain perfection of life if they take shelter of unalloyed devotional service to me. Because in the path of devotional service, there are no impediments due to degraded birth and occupation. The path is open for everyone who agrees to follow it. So we're all God's children, whether we're good or bad, whatever we're following, we still remain His children. That cannot be denied. It appears that the prostitutes of Dwarka, who were so eager to meet the Lord, were all His unalloyed devotees. And thus they were all on the path of salvation according to the above version of the Bhagavad-Gita. Therefore, the only reformation that is necessary in society is to make an organized effort to turn the citizen into devotees of the Lord. And thus all good qualities of the denizens of heaven will overtake them in their own way. On the other hand, those who are non-devotees have no good qualifications whatsoever. However, they may be materially advanced. The difference is that the devotees of the Lord are on the path of liberation, whereas the non-devotees are on the path of further entanglement in material bondage. The criterion of advancement of civilization is whether the people are educated and advanced on the path of salvation. So it's saying on the path of salvation. It's not like, you can remain a prostitute and you will go back home, because that's like one of the regulations, illicit relationships, isn't it? So the idea is really that one day when you're purified enough, you will give up those kind of practices. It's like Haridas Thakur, the prostitute came to him, but after taking advice from him, she stopped that profession and just went into bhakti. So by being attached to Krishna, you are being purified, and hopefully the purification will take you in the right path and stop you doing, and makes you realize that what you're doing is not conducive to bhakti, or if you want salvation, it's not conducive to that. So let's see what Prabhupada says anything on this. So Prabhupada, it's mentioned that it doesn't matter what your occupation is, everyone can be devotee of the Lord. Prostitutes of Dwarka, they were unalloyed devotees of the Lord anyway. So, okay, that's the story we have here. And okay, I think we mentioned everything. All right, we'll go to 20. Nartak Gandharva Sutamagad Bandinaha Gayanti Cho Uttam Shloka Charitani Adbhutani Cha. So Nat is the dramatist, Nartak, dancers, Gandharva, celestial singers, Suta, professional historians, Magad, professional genealogists, Vandina, professional learned speakers, Gayanti, chant, cha, respectfully, Uttam Shloka, the Supreme Lord, Charitani, activities, Adbhutani, all superhuman, cha, and. So expert dramatists, artists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, and learned speakers all gave their respective contributions. Being inspired by the superhuman pastimes of the Lord, they proceeded on and on. So it appears that 5,000 years ago, the society also needed the services of the dramatists, artists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, public speakers, etc. Dancers, singers, and dramatic artists mostly hailed from the Shudra community, whereas the learned historians, genealogists, and public speakers hailed from the Brahman community. All of them belonged to a particular caste, and they became so trained in their respective families. Such dramatists, dancers, singers, historians, genealogists, and public speakers would dwell on the subject of the Lord's superhuman activities in different ages and millenniums, and not on ordinary events. So all the dramas and the talks and the dance were based on Lord Krishna. Nor were they in chronological order, so it could be anything from any Leela. All the Puranas are historical facts described only in relation to the Supreme Lord in different ages and times, as well as on different planets also. Therefore, we don't find any chronological order. The modern historians, therefore, cannot catch up the link, and thus they unauthoritatively remark that the Puranas are all imaginary stories only. Even 100 years ago in India, all dramatic performances were centered around the superhuman activities of the Supreme Lord. The common people would be verily entertained by the performances of dramas, and yatra parties played wonderfully on the superhuman activities of the Lord, and thus even the illiterate agriculturalists would be participants in the knowledge of Vedic literature. Because even if you can't read, you can still hear, and you can still meditate on Krishna. Despite a considerable lack of academic qualification. So, therefore, expert players in drama, dancers, singers, speakers, etc., are required for the spiritual enlightenment of the common man. The genealogists would give account completely of the descendants of a particular family. Even at the present moment, the guides and the pilgrimage sites of India submit a complete account of genealogical tables before a newcomer. This wonderful act sometimes attracts more customers to receive such important information. Okay, so this is 20. So Krishna consciousness is a cultural presentation. That's how a KC should be presented, or Krishna consciousness should be presented. So he's talking about that everything that was going around was based on the activities of the Lord, or the superhuman activities of the Lord. And it's nice that these activities can be presented in a drama form, in a lecture form, and make it entertaining, because not everybody is able to take in just a lecture. They like drift off. But if you present it like we have the movie now, Nursing of the movie, even children can go and enjoy it and learn so many things from it. They will remember for the rest of their life. Oh, I saw that and this happened. We remember stories when we were young, how we were told about Prahlad, and how we saw a little ant crawling on the pillar that was red hot, and then he saw that pillar and he realized, I think I'm going to be okay. There's like a hint from Krishna. Don't worry, you can grab this red hot pillar, and you won't burn. Look, even this ant is not burning. So like we still remember that for so many years before. So it's so, and this become part of our culture. So this activity is so everywhere. There's dramas and plays going on, and kirtans going on, and singers, speakers, expert players. So yeah, that's all like well stitched into the society, and people understand it in their own way, whichever whatever appeals to them, whether it's singing or the dancing or the drama or the speakers. There's different categories of people giving, and they probably attract that kind of audience as well. The Brahmanas speaking, they might attract the Brahmanical, and the Shudras are doing, they're dancing or singing. They might attract that, so they have their target market, who they can attract. Maybe the Brahmanas weren't even allowing the Shudras to come. They probably, well, they're not going to understand anyway, what's been said. So they can go enjoy the dancing and the singing and benefit from that. So there's something for everyone. So 21. Bhagavamas tatra bandhunam puranam anuvartinam yathavidi upasangamya sarvesham manam adade. So Bhagavan Shri Krishna, the personality Godhead, tatra, in that place, bandhunam, of the friends, puranam, of citizens, anuvartinam, those who approached him to receive and welcome, yathavidi, as it behooves, upasan gamya, going near, ra, sarvesham, for each and everyone, manam, honor and respects are they offered. So Lord Krishna, the personality Godhead, approached them and offered due honor and respect to each and every one of the friends, relatives, citizens, and all others who came to receive and welcome him. So it says friends, relatives, citizens, and all others. These might be people who are just visiting the city. There's like a lot of business people were coming there. A lot of trade used to happen with Dwarka. So these people, oh, Krishna's back. Even if they don't understand Krishna is God, they know the king has just returned. They just want to see the king. Like here, want to see the king, want to see the queen. Like that, they may just come to receive him and welcome him because he's the king of the country. The Supreme Lord, Personality Godhead, is neither impersonal nor an inert object unable to reciprocate the feelings of his devotees. Here the word yatha vidhi, or just as it behooves, is significant. He reciprocates just as it behooves with different types of admirers and devotees. Of course, the pure devotees are of one type only because they have no other object for service but the Lord. And therefore, the Lord also reciprocates with such pure devotees just as it behooves. Namely, he is always attentive to all the matters of his pure devotees. There are others who designate him as impersonal, and so the Lord also doesn't take any personal interest because that's what they want from him. They want him to be impersonal, that's their interest, so he'll remain impersonal for those people. If they think he's stone, he'll remain stone for those people. If you want him to personal, then he will give you his personal interest, personal attention. He satisfies everyone in terms of one's development of spiritual consciousness. And a sample of such reciprocation is exhibited here with his different welcomers. So different people saw him in a different way. Just like when he went to fight the wrestlers of Kansa, there was people watching him. They saw him in their own ways, mentioned in that Leela, that how people saw him. Some saw him as a friend, some saw him as a child, some may have seen him as an enemy. This the way things are, and if that's however you want to see him, he's happy for you to see him. You have free will to see him in any way that you prefer, whatever your preference. So Krishna reciprocated with each person who came to meet him. He can unlimitedly reciprocate. So whatever your desire, whatever your relationship you want with Krishna is, he can reciprocate. As we advance, Krishna will reciprocate accordingly. So as our consciousness develops, and we know we are this spirit soul, so that's already an advancement. We're not this body, so the consciousness has already developed in that sense. And then, do we think Krishna is impersonal? Do we think he's just Paramatma in the heart, or do we think that he's personal? He's just like us. He looks like us. He's not just the four-armed form, which is semi-personal. No, it's not like, because he doesn't communicate with us. The impersonal doesn't communicate with us. The semi-personal does not communicate with us completely. Only the personal feature of Krishna can address us, or we can address us with him on the 5 types of rasis. At least 4 of them anyway, from servant, Sakya, and Vatsalya, and Madhura. So 22. Pravabhi Shalesha Karsparsh Sumite Kshanahi Ashvasya Cha Shvapakebhyo Varasht Chabi Mater Vibhu. So Parhava, by bowing his head, Abhivadan, by greeting with words, Ashlesh, embracing, Karsparsh, shaking hands, Smit Akshanihi, by glancing smile, Ashvasya, by encouragement, Cha and Ashvapakebhya, down to the lowest rank of dog eaters, Varhi, by benediction, Cha also, Abhimatahi, as desired by Vibhu, the Almighty. So this is all very interesting. The Almighty Lord greeted everyone present by bowing his head, exchanging greetings. Some people he embraced, some is shaking hands, and others looking and smiling, giving assurances and awarding benedictions even to the lowest in rank. To receive the Lord Shri Krishna, there were all grades of population, beginning with Vasudev, Ugrasen, and Gargmuni. So the father, grandfather, and teacher, down to prostitutes and chandals who were accustomed to eat dogs. and every one of them was properly greeted by the Lord in terms of rank and position. As pure, loving entities, all are separated parts and parcels of the Lord, and thus no one is alien by his eternal relation. That's the important thing. Such pure living entities are graded differently in terms of contamination of the modes of material nature, but the Lord is equally affectionate to all his parts and parcels, despite material gradation. Because Krishna knows you might be in mode of ignorance, but the modes can change any time. There's opportunity for you to go from ignorance. Now that pathway is there to go from ignorance to passion to goodness, or you can go straight from ignorance to goodness as well. It depends on your enlightenment and your elevation. You can change. It's like Bilamanga Thakur. He was in the mode of ignorance and highly passionate anyway, and he came into pure goodness. So things can change. There's always hope, and Krishna, he knows the future anyway. He knows that that you are all in the process of becoming devotees one day. So he treats you like that you will be pure devotees one day. He descends only to recall these materialistic living beings back to his kingdom. So he wants to purify us, and intelligent persons take advantage of this facility offered by the personality of Godhead to all living beings. No one is rejected by the Lord from the kingdom of God, and it remains with the living being to accept this or not. So Lord Chaitanya, he was looking for the most fallen people. He was going to them and giving them Krishna Prem. So Krishna does not reject anyone. No one is rejected, as is mentioned here. And Srila Prabhupada, he lived in the Bowery, in the most fallen area. He wanted to help, those are people who need help most, and because they are lost and they really need help. Others who are well off, they're doing well, they're really not interested. They've got everything they need. They really don't need God. Sometimes they say that God is the poor man's luxury. Well, God is for everyone because we're all his children, but you're more likely to convince a poor person than somebody who's got all the wealth and everything, having too much fun and really got time for God. So that's 22. So this is different ways Lord reciprocates. No one was envious of another. They could understand the Lord is reciprocating exactly as I would appreciate in the level of Krishna consciousness. So some he may be embracing, others he might just wave at, but nobody's, because they're happy. They know that's the situation, that's the position right now. They probably don't want to be embraced. He is not bowing to everyone. He is not embracing with everyone. He is not smiling at everyone. According to rank and position, he doesn't force his embrace. So he knows what's in your heart, and he will deal with you accordingly. And also according to rank, position, like he's got his elders there, his father is there, his grandfather is there. He will pay obeisances to them. So finally, 23. Swayam cha gurubir viprahi sadarahi sthabarer api ashirabir yujya mano anya vandibis chavishat puram. So Swayam himself also gurubihi, by elder relatives, viprahi, by the Brahmins, sadarahi, with the wives, sthavirahi, invalid, api, also ashirbihi, by the blessing of, yujya manha, by being praised by, anihi, by others, vandibihi, admirers, cha, and avishat, entered Puram, the city. Then the Lord personally entered the city, accompanied by elderly relatives and invalid Brahmanas with their wives, all offering benedictions and singing the glories of the Lord. Others also praise the glory of the Lord. So they must have all met Krishna at the gates of the city. The Brahmanas in society were never attentive to banking money for future retired life. When they were old invalids, they used to approach with their wives the assembly of the kings, and simply by praising the glorious deeds performed by the kings, they would be provided with all the necessities of life. Such Brahmanas were not, so to speak, flatterers of the kings, but the kings were actually glorified by their actions. And they were sincerely still more encouraged in pious acts by such Brahmanas in a dignified way. So Lord Shri Krishna is worthy of all glory. So they were only saying things that were true. It's not they just like, expanding on things, over expanding on something, on some action. They were actually true glories. And the praying Brahmanas and others were glorified themselves by chanting the glories of the Lord. So so they were seen, they were seen with a lot of respect. And Krishna is mentioned that always protected the Brahmanas then, and always protects the Brahmanas and the cows. They glorify the Lord and the king. So he's the king and same Bhagwan. So he deserves all the glory we can give him. And not only that, it's not just for sake of glorification that we get purified as we glorify the Lord. That is a purificatory process for us. It's automatic process that elevates our consciousness. So thank you so much, and let's hear from yourselves. Let's stop sharing. Hare Krishna. Okay. We'll start with the Sureshri Mataji. Hare Krishna Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
So,
well, in this, what I can understand, it's Krishna. He's very affectionate, and towards his living part and parcel, we are part and parcel of Krishna. Whatever I do in life, he's very pleased with us, and he treats everybody the same. And like he says in Bhagavad-Gita, Samoham sarvetevushu name deshvati na priye e bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite teshu chapiham. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I'm equal to all. But whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend, is in me, and I am also a friend in them. So it just like we're reading about Dwarka. No matter what position were people in Dwarka, they were all Krishna conscious, and they loved him so much. The Krishna that they do anything, they were so pleased when see Krishna, and he regarded everybody. He was affectionate to everybody because everybody is part and partial. And he loved his passion, is very affectionate to his part and partial. We are a material, marginal elegy of Krishna. And when they seen the Krishna, they performed all kind of art to please Krishna for his pleasure. So that's like we are doing when we go to do kirtan. When we do this kirtan and apply the music, it's only to please Krishna. It's any kind of art, and that material things become spiritual when we apply for Krishna. We cannot see the Krishna without material eyes. So Krishna is very, very kind. He said, descends himself as a Archa avatar. They call it Archa avatar in a deity form. So we can see Krishna, we can save him, and by saving him, we get very purified. And then Krishna, he reciprocate with us as well. I mean, in loving exchange. And like when these deities, they are made of matter. But when Krishna comes in, that manifests himself in some, it becomes spiritual. As Archa Vigra. And by serving the Lord, we can form relationship. We can have any what relationship we can have, that 5 relationship with Krishna, Vatra, Madhura, and friend. You can have any unusual relation, and it's when you there's a bond, some kind of bond. That's why you want to worship the deity. And like they say, in Satyug, people just to meditate, because they were very intelligent, they had concentration, and the mind was perfect, 100% perfect. So they could meditate on Krishna, and they could hear once anything, they can remember everything. We can't remember anything. That's why in Kali Yuga, Vyasadeva, he wrote everything, because in Kali Yuga, people can't remember things. And in Treta, they did big sacrifices, but they have learned people to do the sacrifice. And in then the Dwapar, they started doing deity worship. That way they started in Dwapar, this deity worship. And even in Kali Yuga, it's very hard, because our mind flickers very much. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu came, and he started this Sankirtan. Is the easiest way to do, go and Sankirtan, and if you have to play with music, then people get the mind get into it. Otherwise, you get more pleasure when you play, just like we go in groups and associations. So we have to do anything. The people in Dwarka, they did anything to please Krishna. And it's Krishna, same way, he pleases them, and he regarded everybody same, whatever position with their Vaishyas or Sudras or anything. He treats everybody same, because everybody is part and parcel. So it's, but in people, we discriminate. I mean, this is lower, this is higher, this is the, but in God's eyes, everything, just like when it rains in stone, it rains in desert. I mean, everywhere. I mean, it doesn't rain desert so much, but anywhere it rains, it doesn't say this is stone, I must rain in the field for the people can have good crop. It's same to everybody. So he is very kind, Krishna, and the people knew, and we should perform. We as a part and parcel of Krishna, or we should save Krishna, and that's what all the acharyas been saying, and all the Christians are saying everything, and they're giving example, so we can learn from them, and please Krishna. By pleasing him, he gets pleased as well. My main thing is to please Krishna. We don't have please ourselves. But when you please Krishna, we get pleased as well. We get satisfied. Oh, we done something. You get satisfaction by pleasing Krishna. That's what we get. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Mataji. Yeah, you used to mention, yeah, very nice verse that Krishna is not impartial, but he may seem impartial. Like it says he's not impartial, but that means he is not impartial, but he may seem impartial because here as well he's greeting different people different way. But it's also Prabhupada has mentioned it's because that's the relationship they have with him. So it's whatever we offer, whatever we offer to him, that's how much he will offer back. So he's not impartial. He may seem impartial that he's giving more to someone and less to somebody else, but it's because that's what he's receiving from them. So he's giving like for like. So ordinarily it might seem that it's impartial, but he's giving like for like. So he's not being impartial. He's giving whatever you're giving him, He's giving you that much back. So if he's embracing someone or giving a big smile, that means they're doing more for him. So he's doing more for them. So he's not impartial. He's doing accordingly. It's not like somebody's doing more and somebody's doing less, and he's greeting the less more than the one who's giving more. So sometimes this happens in the material world. You think, oh, I'm doing so much for this person, and they have no, no respect for me. They have no time for me, or they're not doing anything for me. What's this other person doing? Why is he giving them more opportunity than me? So, there's impartiality there. But in Krishna's eyes, there's no impartiality. He's or partiality. He's equal to everyone accordingly. He's completely impartial. Thank you, Mataji. Hare Krishna. Kiran Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, everybody. Again, Krishna, you can see he's making his entrance into Dwarka, and the whole of the community, society has come out to welcome the Lord of all Lords. And the whole of society, including those people who have professions which are a little bit considered disrespectful. However, people have to accept there will be criminals, there will be drug dealers, there will be alcoholics, there will be prostitutes. However, they're only following their dharma. And the purpose of this divine spiritual journey is to elevate individuals to rise out of some of those inauspiciable positions that they may inhabit or work in or be a part of. However, you may have to accept that they serve a purpose. Even the prostitutes weren't frowned upon. They served a particular purpose in society. Unholy as it appears, even wise, illustrious, top people went to see these ladies of the night. And even some of the ladies of the night, they were bewildered. How and why have you crossed a raging river to come and see me in the middle of the night? And I was reminded of a story of, there was a very pious businessman, and at his funeral, at his father's funeral, his attention was on a prostitute. She wasn't there, but he just couldn't wait to get the funeral over and done with, his father's funeral. And so after the funeral, he couldn't wait to go and see the prostitute. Lo and behold, it's probably the same story. It was a raging, stormy night. He crossed the river, went across the river in a storm. And the boatman said, why do you want to cross the river in the middle of the night, in these difficult circumstances? He said, I need to go to the other side of the river. And he got to the home of the prostitute. He went and fulfilled his lust. And on the way back, he got onto the boat with the boatman, and the storm took the boat. But as the storm took the boat, he was able to grab hold of a log and managed to get to the other side of the river. I got no idea what happened to the boatman. But as he came to the shoreline, he realized that it wasn't a log, it was a dead body he was holding on to. It was a funeral pyre that must have occurred. And it wasn't, I'm not sure whether it was his late father or whoever. But the aspect of lust is such a deep thing that even the most elevated people get taken away by the pangs of desire. And then he realized that this is a very dangerous situation to be in. And so we have to let go of those four demons: alcohol, gambling, lust through illicit sex, and no meat eating. That will also cause us sinful reactions. And hence, Krishna, these aren't just stories. There's so much deep meaning behind these. And it demonstrated, okay, the prostitutes are at a certain rung of the varnashram system, but there were also the Brahmins who were there to educate, to deliver shastric values, but they also delivered artistic and dramatical depiction of the Lord. These were important because they put together dramas, they put together discourses, the artists, the orators, in a way that glorified Krishna. And their role was so important that that glorification of Krishna was important, not Emmerdale glorification or the glorification of whatever serials that occur in the evening. It just goes to show I've forgotten what these are now because I'm so far removed from Western TV now. And it just goes to show that some of these dramas and plays and speeches and discourses that took place, they didn't necessarily need to have a chronology, because we talk of Ram, we talk of Matsya, we talk of Vamandev, we talk of other avatars at different times, and hence they came at different times. So the chronology was important, but the message and the purity of the message and the purity of what it does to the soul is more important. The grace and the importance of the dramas and the entertainment and the glorification was much more powerful. And the Lord visits us through those forms of depiction by those very important characters in our society who are able to translate that information. Krishna carried on his journey through Dwarka. He reciprocated the personalist and the impersonalist. What you give is what you will receive. If you have a personal relationship with Krishna, you will be embraced by him. You may see the 2-arm form, you may see the 4-arm form, but if you have an impersonal relationship, you may not see anything at all. But we get what we deserve. And that is the nature of our relationship with everybody. And I think we have to work to cultivate that personal relationship with divinity. He does not reject anyone. He's equal to the dog eater as he's equal to the Brahmin, but he's more equal to his devotees. We will receive the reciprocation we appropriately deserve. That will occur in the fullness of time. Krishna may not come to you straight away, but his hands work in mysterious ways. His ways are so mysterious. Sometimes we will get a big slap. We will get a lot of pain, heartache, and misery, but it's all for our own good, because there is a better plan for us. Only he knows what that is. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much, Prabhu. Wonderful. Acharya, Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. As you can see from these verses, the Lord always maintains, even if we don't reciprocate with him. Example I think of is when you think of the 2 birds on a branch, one represents a jiva, one represents Paramatma. Paramatma is always looking towards the jiva. It's just the jiva refuses to look towards Paramatma. That's all it takes, really, just a bit of reciprocation, and the relationship can be reestablished properly. There can be more intimate relationship than simply the Lord maintaining you. And that is the beautiful thing about coming to Krishna consciousness, is that you actually realize how much deeper the relationship can be. It's not simply one of awe and reverence. It can be, as mentioned before from previous devotees, there's so many different rasas there. There's the Lord's pastimes, names, forms. There's so much to work with, so much to learn. It's unlimited. And we just need to actually it only takes a bit of effort, because we know that Krishna knows that he becomes bound by the love of his devotee, particularly his pure devotee, which is why he doesn't make it as necessarily straightforward as such, that you've got to put an effort in. That's all it is, really. You put a bit of effort in, then you can actually, then the relationship becomes what it should be. And unfortunately, in this age of Kali Yuga, effort tends to be lacking, because we are the most fallen of the ages. Yet all it takes is a bit of a spark to get going, and it's amazing to see how quickly devotees progress of all ages. Even if they come to bhakti very late, they can progress very quickly. Their relationship is very strong with Krishna. It's never too late. It's never too early either. It's just take to it whenever, whether you're 3 years old or 90 plus. I've seen devotees there as well. They've come to it so late, yet they've taken to it, and it's amazing what difference has made to their lives. It's just it's amazing what's possible when you connect to Krishna, really. I mean, obviously, in terms of the Shastra, it's blatant that in Krishna is unlimited. He's the source of everything. It shouldn't be that amazing, but when you see it, when you understand it, Krishna never really fails to amaze, because his glories are they are the sweetest, as in we know he's Lila Purushottam. His pastimes are the sweetest. Everything about him is foremost, and that's the thing. So just till we recognize that we can, whatever we want to achieve in life, if we achieve it for Krishna, then everything kind of falls into place. What we want to achieve for ourselves, then things get a bit tricky. It's a simple formula. We just need to get the basics right, and everything else will fall into place. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, thanks so much. Yeah, we do the action, but we should not try to enjoy the fruit. That everything should be like an offering to Krishna, and then we're not attached to the results of our actions. We do it for Krishna, and whether we succeed or not, Krishna doesn't look at that. He just sees your endeavor. Thank you so much, Brother Rani.
Hare Krishna, my pranams to all of you. Yes, the sweetness carries on as the citizens of Dwarka are greeting Krishna. All the etiquettes of bhakti, from welcoming, from serving, from how you associate, everything is depicted so nicely in these verses. And this devotional service, the bhakti, the pure devotional service, longing should be there in all of us. If we long for the highest goal, then we will reach the highest goal. If we don't long, we will be, strayed here and there on our way. And we have this Devi Varnashram Dharma, which says that all the Vaishnavas, everyone can worship the Lord. And how beautifully Lord has done the division of the Varnashrams. The Varna, there are 4 Varnas and 4 ashramas in life, and how they all cooperate, and then it's win-win situation for everyone. Krishna seems like a hard taskmaster to everyone who are in devotional service, in the path of devotional service, because Krishna wants the best from us. He knows that he has carved us to the best of our desires, and he has done the best for us. He's provided the best for us, and he expects the best of bhakti also from us. If we can engage ourselves in our mundane, enjoyment and all the rest so nicely, then why can't we give some quality time also to Krishna? We have to work in our lives so that sometimes Krishna is in our front, sometimes Krishna is on the back of our mind. So it doesn't mean that Krishna should be just occupying all your 24 hours, because you have to do your duties as well. And it shows how nicely that everyone who were, whatever skills, whatever qualifications they had in Dwarka, they used those to welcome him. So this is what Krishna wants us from us in our bhakti, in our devotional service. That's why there are 5 different types of mellows which we can engage, and we all have got a mellow for Krishna. We all have, and as we carry on doing the bhakti, practice the devotional service, that mellow will become clearer to us. We will realize that, yeah, this is my strength. This is how I can serve Krishna nicely in this life. And when then that becomes perfect, and slowly through lives, or maybe through one life only, it all depends upon Lord's causeless mercy, we will get the spiritual body, and that's it. No more rounds of this these 14 planets going, the planets up to Dhruvalok, which get destroyed, that going up and down through them. So we have to follow the etiquettes. We have to understand how to deal with the superiors, how to deal with the peers, and how to deal with the ones who are a little bit lesser than us in qualities or any. But we don't have to act as if we are everything, because we are not. We are just tiny little bit spark coming from Krishna. He has given us that quality. We shouldn't be proud of it. We shouldn't be, arrogant about it. And then Krishna is going to, reward us nicely, as the famous verse says, Ye yatha mam prapadyante tam tathaiva bhajamyaham. And that's it. That's a simple formula. Krishna has given us everything, and he has given us the formulas also in Bhagavad-Gita, and the devotees' leelas in Bhagavatam. And how many names Krishna has got, like there's a Vishnu Sahasranama, there's 1,000 names of Vishnu. And I'm sure Krishna has got unlimited names, because his pastimes are unlimited. Even we as devotees, sometimes we even invent a name for Krishna, which becomes like our favorite name for Krishna. And this is how this Leela carries on. So thank you all for your wonderful realizations today, and I wish you all a very nice, restful and Krishna conscious weekend, and can't wait for the verses on Monday. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you so much. Yeah, the soul moves from Brahmalok down to the hellish planets, so it has that facility to move up and down, so the soul can travel to different planets up to the Brahmalok. Hare Krishna. So thank you so much, and Granthra
Śrīmad-Bhāgavatam
ki jai, Prabhupada ki jai, Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna.